Okay, so my name is Khalil Ismail, for people who don't know me. I'll give you a little bit of my background, and there's a purpose for that. So if you hear me talking about things, I'm not bragging, there's a reason for it. So, alhamdulillah, I've been in this kind of Muslim entertainment slash writing slash poetry slash hip hop slash music scene for the last 11, 12 years or so. And on top of that, Allah has blessed me with the opportunity to do music for, or place music for national channels like Discovery Channel and National Basketball Association and PBS and more, alhamdulillah. And I have like 6 or 7 albums that I've created. Alhamdulillah, I was able to complete a short film, which is now, by the way, on Amazon Prime. Alhamdulillah.
What's the name?
It's called His Other Wife. And that's a story in and of itself. But like that whole process was a story in and of itself. But anyone who wants to hear that, they can wait, because that's a long story. Because I'm moving past that for a reason. But the point is that music has taken me to 10, 11, so I've performed in 10, 12 countries. I've done youth workshops in many, many places. And alhamdulillah, I've also been a nonprofit professional for a long time, working for both non-Muslim and Muslim entities. And I say that, and I'm saying that to say this. Well, first, before I do that, I want to ask a question. How many of you watch movies? Every single, I'm pretty sure every person in America does, right? So, when you watch movies, I want to ask you, have you ever noticed that, well, let me ask you this. In action movies, the beginning of many action movies, it starts with a lot of action. And they focus on a character. And that character, you know, goes around and you get attached to that character because they start out building that character by, let's say they show him maybe communing with his children, or he's about to kiss his wife goodbye before he goes out and shoots the enemy, right? So he does that, and at that point you're already attached. But when you go out, you notice that a whole lot of people die very quickly. Have you ever paid attention to the fact that you don't care about how many people die in the beginning? Have you ever paid attention to the fact that if you ever watched a movie where that was happening throughout the movie, and then the main person died, then all of a sudden you care, you want to cry, right? Well, the reason for that is, the basis of that is that the person who wrote the script decided who you should favor, right? It's very important for you to know that, because, see, being a filmmaker, being a writer of music, and also I have many books that I've written, I've never published that. It's coming, alhamdulillah. I've learned that every little single aspect of popular culture is strategized. Every single aspect of what we look at is purposely created and crafted to give you a narrative that they want you to believe, right? And most people don't even realize it. I literally have to tell my kids all the time, convince my kids, what are you watching? I ask them questions so that they can analyze what they're watching. I don't stop them because they're in this world and their peers are watching and they're going to talk about it and that type of thing. But what's happening is, one of the reasons why we're losing the race is because often we're not paying attention to the writing and the various aspects that we're taking in. So let's take a movie, and I use a movie because one of the great things that I learned, one of the amazing experiences that I had when I did the movie, was how many different writers had to come together to make it happen. Now, most people, when they think of writers, they just think about people who have the script. They just think of the script as the person who writes. But if you know anything about credits, you know that not only are the people who write the music also writers, but the people who do the lighting are writers. The people who edit are also writers. Their recording medium is just different, right? So when I, for example, as a director, so I directed and edited the movie and I also scored it, I would get writing credits for all of those things because, you know, and then people would ask, you know, sometimes people would say things to me like, you know, you do a lot, you know, you're jack of all trades and everything. I'm like, no, actually I just tell stories and I know a couple of different languages on how to relate those stories. I just happen to be blessed, Allah blessed me with being in different mediums at a different time and to be able to put them all together. But it's all writing, right? And when you write, for example, when you publish a book, not only are your words on your book writing, but the graphic design, how you choose it, how you record it, it's also a type of writing, it's a type of recording. And it matters. People look at anyone who's published a book, you know that the first thing they look at is your cover. And if they're turned off by your cover, they're not gonna buy your book. So it's very important for you to pay attention to every aspect of it. So I'll bring this back home to this. Hollywood, what makes them so successful is that they are meticulous about every single detail, from the advertising all the way down to the makeup. They will do hundreds of thousands of takes in different countries. It took them 20 or so years to make Avatar. I mean, I'm talking about they are patient because the product they need to have is so important for them, because when you write well in every aspect, the more you write well in every aspect of what you're producing, the more you reach here, the heart. And remember, the purpose of writing in general, no matter what kind, is to reach the heart, right? And what I have found amongst us sometimes is that we tend to, I would say, derate an aspect of it, and which makes us fall behind. And so when we're wondering sometimes why our kids are not necessarily gravitating to the things we produce versus the things that other people produce, it may be that we have decided to forsake quality, you know, thinking that we can just go ahead and get it out, which you do need to do. Like, you got to get it out to start. Like, everybody has to start. You got to start. But you have to start with the idea that I have to be excellent at every aspect of this. And if I can't be, then I have to find somebody who can help me. Because the only way we're actually going to compete in this industry is that we are excellent in every aspect. So when and I'm going to leave with this, like, I had one of my friends on my social media, Sister Dahlia Mujahid, y'all know who she is, right? So she recently said that some of the students who she interacts with doesn't know who Malcolm X is. And I'm like, the first question I asked is not, and she said the mainstream doesn't do a good job, and the first question I asked myself is, what am I not doing? What am I not doing? I am not going to leave it to them to tell the story of our great hero. Why are we leaving? Why do we even look to them? Why do we ask them the question, why don't you show my God? Why don't we do it? Why is it that we validate the person? Like, and you made a quote about supporting us over mainstream one time on your social media recently. I'm praying for the day, I'm working for the day. The reason why we did this movie is to start the process of, look, you don't need me and Sister Zakia. We took the money out of our own pocket and said, hey, look, we're going to start this and we're going to try to grow it, right? And we're going to try to have the best quality that we can, and then we're going to ask Allah and pray for it, and then we're going to keep building. And the reason for that is this, because when most of us, the way we validate most people is the Grammys have to validate them. Or like I like to call, Joe White has to validate them. Let's be honest. If Joe White don't validate you, you don't matter. You don't matter to most people. Oh, that's just that little project you do. You understand what I'm saying? So one of the reasons why I got that camera there is because even though I'm here speaking, and alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me with all these things, I'm a fan of y'all. Like, I sit and watch Sister Halima and Sister Asia, who I just worked with, right? And Sister Sakina, you know, I see you got the group. And Sister Layla, you know, when Layla called me the first time, I want to interview you, okay, let's go, because I see you doing something. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know of her, But here's a person who's trying to do something and improving upon the silence, right? And so the thing is that we also have to be fans of each other and patronize each other. So I'll leave with this. I apologize to Sister Halima in public because I was going through a really, really rough time when she reached out to me. And I couldn't respond the way that I wanted to, but it's not because I didn't want to. And I want to say that I'm really happy and proud of you doing what you've done. I watch you from afar, right? Alhamdulillah. And to see you having this, spreading this play all over the place. And as I said in the LinkedIn message, if you need some help, I still got your back. I'm better now. I'm in a better place now, alhamdulillah. And I have a little bit more resources with me, and I'm getting myself back out there. It's one of the reasons why I'm here today. And if anybody, if you have any questions, my website is Khalil Ismail. Contact me. I'll do my best to try to get to you, because no matter what, I think what we have to do is no matter what happens, no matter how far we get, we all we got, man. We are all we have, right? And storytelling, as Imam Sohaib said, it's going to be the way that we keep our legacy going. And the poets of yesterday that the Prophet ﷺ commissioned, the Prophet ﷺ had the Quran, which embodied everything perfect. It has prose, it rhymes, it's beautiful, its tartil is perfect. Like you literally, when you understanding tajweed, every little note, some of it is elongated. It's, if you understand music, you realize, wow, this is like perfected. So it's better and bigger than music. It doesn't even compare. Music doesn't compare. But when you realize that what Hollywood and everybody else is doing against us, they got cannons. They got cannons, and they're aiming us with all their cannons, and we got little teeny pistols, right? The only way this is gonna happen is that we work together, right, and amplify each other where we can, right? And so that's what I want to leave you with, alhamdulillah. And may Allah bless you all. I thank you for all for being here. Inshallah, I'll be back again. Assalamu alaikum.